At other times, the people just want to be heard.
School, I need students, but I need teacher.
Can't continue like this.
Their voices were echoing through time itself.
We haven't done anything.
Okay, welcome back. And well, this morning we're looking at the it's a perennial subject, the economic recovery program of the President Tinubu administration and the road ahead. And we've been getting some contributions of what things that could help our vista of this economic recovery program. Jake, would you like to look at some of those points that were made by our last caller?
Yeah, Brother Flary, very, very on point. But I think we need to drill it down to specific solution. Okay. When we talk about, because this effective communication keeps coming. The first caller,
it keeps coming back.
The second caller,
yes.
Yes. Yes. So what are these effective communication? Effective communication is being able to manage information, put it out there for people to see, and receive feedback and do something with that feedback. That's just a working definition. I'm not also an expert in communication. Yeah. But however, let's put it in context. I think one of the most powerful tools of communication today is the social media. The government needs to take into account what machineries that they can launch to get hold of the narratives and the conversation around the social media. We don't have the kind of money we have in the hand of government, and yet the public seems to be in control of what happens in social media space. I think the government needs to take a cursory look at what kind of machineries and expertise that they can acquire to take control of the narrative, not to take control by promoting misinformation, but to take control by putting out the right information. I think, did you lose me?
Sorry, I got you there, and I do agree. I got you, and I do agree, especially as it is. I think government is continuing in the way things have always been. Yet, the world has moved on. I mean, newspapers are important, but those are not the primary source of news anymore. Even the newspaper guys understand this and have come on to, social media space, bringing things down to bite sizes that the public, the majority of people are going to understand. There will always be those who will go back to reference materials to flesh out their knowledge. But in the first instance, people are getting their news from their phone. So I agree with you. There are some things I see the government is doing. They are, for instance, they are talking with reporters. They have these forums on social media. But perhaps they need to go out, as you are suggesting, and take control of their corner
of the narrative,
the social media space. But
there are other things. The other things, Brother Flary,
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
The other things
has been waiting. Let me just take Reverend Dominic so we don't lose him. Good morning, Reverend Dominic.
Okay, good morning, Yori. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good morning, my friend Jack. Jack knows me very well. My name is Reverend Dominic.
Yes.
Long time we have not seen, but I'm seeing him again on television.
Okay.
Yori, I want to disagree a little bit about the discussion this morning, if you allow me. My friend George has spoken very well. Let me say this. The communication, thank you. The communication here will be speaking about this communication for too long. He left for the government to get a good communication experts to communicate to Nigerians and not leave it for social media. But that's one way. I want to ask my friend Jake, do you need an economist to tell us that money or Naira devaluation since 1980s have not done well for Nigerian economy? Do you need an economist, Dr. Jake? Do you need to tell a blind man there's pepper in the soup? There's hunger in the land. If there's policies of government that, towards to recovery of Nigerian economy, how is it working for Nigerian people? Like George says, there's more money in the hands of the governors now. But out from Imo State, I've not seen anyone tangible thing in Imo State that this $1 million bringing to Imo State in name of removal of subsidy money. I've not seen the change on ground. The hunger is so much. If a man must survive for tomorrow, he must feed for today. I have not moved my car for over 2 weeks because I cannot buy food for 1,200. And if I buy food for 1,200, my family will not feed. I don't know about another person. Yes. Yes, there's recovery of economy. But we are going through hardship in the land. Now, hear this, Yuri. I don't want to blame the last administration any longer because since I supported Buhari government, I've stopped supporting any government. Buhari disappointed almost all of us. No promise of Buhari for 8 years he kept. And this is the mess we are today. There's no way we cannot buy an airplane for Mr. President. Nigeria is a big nation. We cannot use a charter plane for our president. That is not the way. But the issue again is this. I want to ask Jake, how do you have 48 ministers in the kind of economy we have today? Last week or 2 weeks ago, we discussed it on the television. I said, Yori, I give you a home assignment. Could you mention 10 ministers offhand, quickly? Yori, I'm giving you that challenge again this morning. Mention 10 ministers in this government. And we have 48 in the kind of economy we have. Too many people doing nothing. The issue is that the economy is biting hard. We must do something quick to make people have at least a square meal in this nation. Naira devaluation has not helped anybody. What you call fuel subsidy, whether it's working or not, I'm confused as a man. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you very much.
This is a passionate friend of mine that I haven't seen a long time ago. And I'm not surprised he's sounding that way because it also have affected the income of churches.
And everybody, churches and everybody.
And everybody, yeah, it's true. And I think, Brother Fulani, with time, because I know you don't have time, I really want to talk about solution. But however, another thing I think government would do when it comes to this issue of communication, the use of surrogates are powerful. Experts that they can send out there, people with credibility, people who can speak authoritatively to government programs, and balance it out so that they can be, because take it or leave it, some of us analysts.
Well, that's the job of ministers.
Network.
That's the job of ministers, isn't it?
If they are not doing it, they should find people who are ready to do it. But again, yes, the ministers can do that, but the public analysts that are credible are more believable. They are more believable,
Indeed.
So
I get you. I get you.
If you allow me, I would like to talk about solution, because we've talked about too many problems, which is true, is there. Okay. But what are the solutions?
Let's do that. Let's do that, Brother Jake.
Okay, so there are 5 things that I have, I've wrapped around my head that government is doing some of them, but I think they need to do more. The people are complaining. The masses are complaining. What's the solution? Social safety nets. Create social safety net. The government should expand the targeted social welfare programs to, help in cushioning the effect of the economic reforms on the most vulnerable in our country, such as direct cash transfer, which they are relaunching, which is commendable. but we need to do it in such a way that we can hold people accountable and ensure that it's going to the citizens that deserve that. The issue of food security, the food security measures, and affordable housing initiatives. Some of them have been launched. Again, we need to communicate to the people some of these initiatives and bring out people who, for one reason or the other, have benefited from such, so that they can stand as testimonial of the workability of this kind of investment. Number two, boost local production. Boost local production. We need to encourage local manufacturing, such as agricultural production, to reduce import dependency, and to create employment opportunities. You know, initiatives that addresses issues around employment opportunities, the promotion of SMEs, very vital. The issue of debt restructuring and fiscal discipline is also should be on the front burner. Energy and infrastructural investment, the problem of power, making sure that we have available power to do the things that we are doing, whether it's in the manufacturing, education, health. We need that. I think the final thing that I would like to touch on is empowering the private sector. Simplify the regulatory environment to make it easier for businesses to operate and thrive, which will boost investors' confidence and economic growth. I did mention 5 things. Empowering the private sector. Number 2, energy and infrastructure investment. Number 3, debt restructuring and fiscal discipline. Number 4, boosting production, local production, food production, and social safety net. I present this as simple roadmap for the economic recovery that is ahead of us. I mean, this is just my own simple postulation. There may be others with greater insight, but I think we need to toe this line.
Thank you, Brother Jake. Otumba Okunowo, I believe, is in Abeokuta. Good morning to you, sir. Did I hear that Otumba Okunowo?
Good morning, good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Please mute your television set.
Good morning, Jake.
Okay, carry on.
Good morning, Jake.
Otumba, I greet you, sir.
Okay, good morning. Good morning, the guests. I want to start with Reverend Dominic. Apart from him, others are government spokespersons that I've been calling this morning. The Reverend Dominic spoke very well. He spoke about what is happening in the country. Hunger is in the land. Hardships are on the land. The hardships are in the land. So what do you want to? What you talk of effective communication? What do you want to communicate? Nothing to communicate other than the hardship that is in the land. Now the president and the vice president are not in the country. Where do you find that? Can you find that in America or in Europe? What is happening in this country? Banana Republic. And if you cannot, then we need perhaps we are in a military regime. If you cannot criticize constructively, then let's go back to military regime and know that we must not talk at all. Good morning.
Well, good morning, and thank you very much for calling in. We take all sorts of callers. That's an angry Nigerian in there, and so we don't need to put anything, because it's the way he sees it. And we have not discounted any of those things. We have acknowledged that things are tough, but we can't sit down inside things are tough and not do anything about it. So that's why we thank the Otumba for calling in, but I don't think we need to spend much more time on, his complaint, because it's what, how does one put it? It's real. It's real. The Reverend Dominic was telling us that he has parked all his cars. he used to be able to fuel them. And Reverend Dominic is not your ordinary small man. There are many of us who are in that same situation, with fuel being 1,000 plus now. But that is part of the reforms that the president established. And it's hurting. It is really hurting. But was there or is there the opportunity to not do it? In other words, are we to continue with the untenable subsidy regime, whereupon we'll all be, a bit happier? These are the questions that go back to Otumba didn't care much for the explanation about what communication are you talking about? But sir, it's about trying to get people to understand, and I understand the pain. Look, as we're doing all of this, Elder Jake, as we're doing all of this, the living costs are going up. NEPA has just, well, they're not called NEPA, but you know what I mean. They have just told us that they want to move as many people as possible to Zone A, Band A. Where are we going to get the money to pay for? Some people are protesting, say, please, I don't want Band A. Can you people find Band C or D and just give me that? So it just goes back to the toughness, and that's what I thought we should highlight. But as you have always wisely said, Elder Jake, whereas we talk about those things, there can also be some solutions that can be offered. And that's where you were speaking about, the energy and infrastructural investments that you were talking about earlier. You also talked about debt restructuring. These are some of the solutions and how to encourage local production. We've been on this particular point for decades now. We know, but we're not able to do it, Elder Jake. But whether we like it or not, it looks like we've come to that time when we're going to have to bite the bullet.
Yeah, we must create the enabling environment for local productions to thrive, but also to please calm the nerves of Otumba. Otumba, yes. Respectfully, sir, I think everyone that's called admitted to the fact that, look, it's difficult for everyone. And I don't think any government spokesperson called today, because they spoke passionately and honestly about their impression. And that's why diversity is important. There's always diversity of opinion, Of course. But yes. But in terms of local production, one, the government needs to create the enabling environment for local producers to have access to funds, access to, take for instance, those in agriculture, fertilizer, transportation, the whole ecosystem within the agricultural value chain needs to be thoroughly investigated, interrogated, and enhanced, so that those that are in it, take for instance, those who are producing, will not see their produce rot in the ban because they don't have the means of transportation. Exactly. So I think also it's important to underscore the management of post-harvest storage. I think also the government needs to pay attention to post-harvest storage. How do we store the seedlings? How do we ensure that those who needs to plant in the next agricultural cycle will have access to a quality seedlings that they will plant, that will grow and provide harvest?
Thank you very much. You're so very right. But as you said, you notice that we are fast running out of time. Indeed, our time is almost up. But I want to thank you for coming along and sort of bringing this matter back into focus, because the news is such that so many different things are on the news, and we need to come back to base with this, that, look, we have a situation on our hands, the economic recovery program. It's probably going well, but it is tough going. And that's where the Otumba who called in was well within his rights, saying that, look, at the end of the day, this is the core of it. And we do appreciate him, and we appreciate everybody else who has called in on the subject matter. So we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much, Jake Epelle, Policy Development Analyst. As I said, you're a man of many caps. I particularly love the top hat this morning. You're a man of many hats. So the one you brought out this morning, kudos. So thank you very much for coming on, Jake. Okay, so we're going to have to leave it there. That's our program. Do join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Are you tired of spending countless hours in the kitchen, wrestling with cumbersome appliances, and juggling multiple tasks just